Down House in Kent was for 40 years home to Charles Darwin, one of the most influential thinkers in the history of scientific discovery. It's here, surrounded by his large family and his wife Emma, that Darwin developed his groundbreaking theory of evolution by natural selection. Arriving at the house, you get a real sense of Darwin the naturalist, the scientist, but also of Darwin as the family man. And a visit here is truly inspiring. You don't only feel the presence of that great scientist, but also it's bristling with a sense of fun through experimentation, something that would have arisen because of that family life here. In Darwin's study, you can find many of his books, artefacts and maps. The tools of his discoveries are spread out everywhere: specimen jars, dissection tools, a magnifying glass. There is the chair where Darwin sat, and that's the board that he rested upon when he was writing his famous book on the origin of species. One of the most important books in our history. Sat in here, in this space, with his quill scraping across the paper. This really is the inner sanctum of zoology, and standing in here, looking at all of his bits and pieces, all of his clutter, which stimulated his curiosity, his creativity. It's amazing. By startling contrast, elsewhere in the house, you'll find a surprising discovery. It's a makeshift stair slide that Charles and Emma made for their children. If Darwin's letters are anything to go by, then the life that his children led here was fairly riotous for the times. The children are growing so quite out of all rule in the drawing room, jumping on everything and butting like young bulls at every chair and sofa, that I am going to have the dining room fire lighted tomorrow and keep them out of the drawing room. They had rope swings hung from these ceilings. They would play cricket along here and throw lead darts at one another, protecting themselves with wooden shields. Today, fittingly, a visit to Down House is a very hands-on experience. You can get an interactive multimedia tour narrated by David Attenborough, or play a variety of family games. You can also discover a replica of Darwin's cabin from his voyage on HMS Beagle, where he drew inspiration from many of his discoveries and continued his lifelong passion for collecting and cataloguing animals. Like all good naturalists, Darwin was a great collector. He even collected a tortoise from the Galapagos, which had grown 2 inches by the time he got it back here to the UK. But looking around this study, the one thing that my eye is drawn to is the little wicker dog basket down there on the floor, because it was there that his trusty dog Polly slept waiting, perhaps just listening for the sound of that quill going down, and then rushing across this carpet, jumping up and saying, "Charles, take me for a walk." Outside, on the sand walk, Darwin rewarded his dog's patience, going for a walk every day, and his kids would often join him playing games or helping him with his observations. When I walk here today, this place brings me back to a world that was bursting with birds and butterflies, the very things that were stimulating Darwin's creativity and his curiosity. While for Darwin the gardens were a place to experiment, for the children they were a playground. Whether playing in clay pits or navigating the lawns on stilts, they made the most of their surroundings. In 1863, Darwin constructed a heated greenhouse here with the help of a local gardener. Annie, I love it in here. The quality of the light, that warm, moist smell of greenhouse is undoubtedly unchanged from Darwin's time.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
fabulous, isn't it? And what can people expect?
Well, what we've got here is a range of tropical orchids, the type of which Darwin would have himself experimented on back in his day. And the gardeners here have tried to recreate the array of plants.
Got one in flower though as well, look at that. That's remarkably
It's
exotic,
beautiful.
isn't it? It's stunning. What about kids though when they come? What do they get?
Well, there's always something nice and gory at Downhouse for the youngsters. So over on this side, we have a series of carnivorous plants which used to eat various things, including toenail clippings, would you believe?
He gave toenail clippings to Venus flytraps.
I believe so,
Which I think
yes.
was a bit mean. He could have given them flies, but kids love watching them snap shot on those insects.
Absolutely, yes. Again, out here in the gardens, we've actually got an observation beehive where you can see the bees working to create their honeycomb structures between two panels of glass. So it's absolutely amazing to see these fantastic little creatures going about their daily business.
Kids love getting their nose into that sort of stuff,
Absolutely,
don't they?
yeah.
I want them to leave here as young biologists.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I wish I could tell Darwin all I know because of him, all the inexplicables explained, all the wonders, the miracles, the brilliant things that I've seen through eyes that he opened. I like to imagine that some young people might visit Downhouse with no real idea who Darwin was. But when they come here, perhaps led by their parents or the staff of English Heritage, they look at his collections and his life, which is brought to life in such an exciting and exhilarating and fun way, that they will leave thinking, I've been in the place where a great man lived and thought and came up with remarkable ideas in an incredibly important time. I like to think that some of those young people might leave thinking, I would be a biologist too. They might be stimulated by what they found here, because after all, in the future, we're going to need more Darwins to help us look after all of this.